Greetings, Ranger fans, and welcome to another edition of Database Rangers Power Reviews, where we'll be doing live commentary of our classic episodes of Database Rangers Power Reviews. Right now, we're working through the classic Year 1 episodes from 2013. Welcome those of you who are currently in the chat. Welcome Sean, welcome Scott, welcome Jenny. Good to see you all. I hope that everyone is having a very happy Purim. Uh, Always looking for different things to celebrate. Enjoy those hats and hamantaschen. So, obviously, this past weekend was a big weekend with the premiere of Power Rangers Dino Fury, which was a very pleasant surprise, I'd say, for most of the fandom, with a strong premiere, and obviously with this channel introducing the all-new series of the rapid run-throughs and the deeper looks. So you will be able to continue to see those rapid run-throughs released every weekend on Morphin Legacy, where I'll be going through the entire episode in just under 2 minutes, in about just over a minute and a half, those 99 seconds. And I'm seeing a little bit of issues with the streaming not being smooth. Oh, I think I know what's happening. And I'm not sure how well I can fix it at the moment. I know what happened. Streamlabs lost its settings and I had to log back in, which means that all of our defaults may have been changed. And I don't recall exactly which way they were before, which is not fun. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's definitely, it's seeming a little glitchy, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so we'll be continuing to release those shorter clips on Morphin Legacy every weekend, and of course the longer, deeper looks here on this channel every weekend as well. I'm glad that so many people enjoyed. Welcome to everyone else in the chat as well. Welcome Hayden, welcome Dan, welcome to Devious and Sheree. MJ is taking care of RJ over in the other room. And yeah, of course, this weekend is going to be yet another big weekend, not only because we're seeing another rapid run-through on Morphin Legacy, another deeper look at the second episode of Power Rangers Dino Fury here on Database Rangers Power Reviews, but there will actually be a brand new episode of Database Rangers Power Reviews coming out this Sunday. So I've been hard at work on episode 92. It is coming along. It's not quite there yet, but it is definitely coming along. And as I keep saying, this one has been a very long time in the making. Not due to any sort of complexity in terms of filming or editing, but you will understand when you see it why I keep saying that this one has been a very long time in the making. We're going to get some big reveals and a few other surprises, and I'm hoping that you all deeply enjoy what is coming. It is going to get into a reveal that I have been teasing in various statements over the course of the last like 7 or 8 years. So this guy's saying it would be great if the isolated rapid run-throughs could be released before the deeper look. Yeah, we're still working out our timing. It's a matter of what works well for both. There's a little bit of miscommunication on the timing. We meant to release them at the same time, but didn't quite work out that way. And my other laptop was attempting to do an update. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the new Zords in action this week. I've been hearing a lot of good things about WandaVision. I still haven't seen it because we don't have Disney Plus. So hopefully one of these days. But all that being said, we should be diving into our to our commentary here with, of course, our three equally non-controversial phrases, as you should all be hopefully familiar with at this point. So let's kick things off with our first phrase. Number 1, say it with me, chat. Black lives matter. Number 2, say it with me, chat. Fascism is bad. And number 3, say it with me, chat. Superheroes are fun. And right now we're going to take a look into a review of some very very flashy superheroes with the Database Rangers Power Reviews episode 15, reviewing Power Rangers Super Samurai episode 16, Fight Fire with Fire. So ready, and let's go.
Previously on Power Review. Welcome to year 1.
If it will.
New Year's resolutions. We'll be reviewing all 7 final episodes of Super Samurai. Make some new friends.
Yep.
Hi. This isn't going too well. And now, Database Rangers Power Review.
As you can see, at this point, I've started to settle a little bit more into
Greetings, Ranger fans,
the proper structure for the previously ons that you've seen all throughout the rest of the series, where we have that little, where everything's in black and white, and you have that little clip at the beginning and end referencing the previous review.
You nearly received a concussion because you didn't know how to deal with female undergarments. How do you think you're qualified for this discussion?
Well, yeah, good point. So I'll keep this short.
This whole bit is
Power Rangers has not had the best track record with female characters, especially in creating
this little mini arc of covering Lauren's introduction into Super Samurai. I feel like I was trying really hard to make it work from a feminism standpoint, and I feel like I didn't hit my mark on all of this. The real focus was, of course, to bring Dr. K into the reviews in a more concrete sense, outside of just being the assistant, just to sort of solidify the arc of their burgeoning friendship. And I feel like I went a little bit hard on Dr. K's focus on gender politics of the show. Just because there were little bits that just didn't feel like they rang true with the character, and I felt like it could have handled in a way that was a little bit more nuanced. I'll put it that way. So this little run of episodes is a run of episodes that I'm definitely self-critical on.
Which means it must be important. Because it's not as if that crest is seen all that often, like on their costumes, their practice outfits, their front door, or their fresh-baked cookies.
Yeah, literally everything has the Shiva Clan mark on everything.
Did you win a free cruise?
The other Rangers will finally know my secret.
Well, that's cool, too. Finally tired of stalking Decker, Dayu returns to the Sanzu River, and the lonely Octoroon warmly welcomes her.
It is, again, just a shame that the sympathetic take on Dayu and Decker came into such a clash between the nuanced look at those between the sympathetic look for those characters and the far more monstrous versions of them from Shinkanger.
These are filled with evil flames from the Sanzu River.
If your river is catching fire, I think you may have a serious pollution problem.
Every time they strike, fire will then burn and destroy them from the inside out.
The gap sensor detects the Nylox, and the Rangers race out to meet them at their local
Fight fire with sister.
What, doesn't every American park have one of those? Fear observes their battle and spill over to the nearby forest, ambushing Jaden with a
with regards to Dino Fury going on for 2 years, I'm fairly certain that Dino Fury will be 2 seasons. One of the big questions is whether or not the second season will still air on Nickelodeon, because that deal hasn't been announced to be renewed yet, which is interesting.
Do we need to talk again about exposition?
We must protect Jaden and the ceiling power.
What did I just... Actually, that was appropriate.
Yeah.
But only because this is the first time you've mentioned it all season. So Fiera...
Yeah, it was definitely frustrating that they just sort of failed to mention the ceiling power for so much of the show. And then just decide to bring it up for this episode when it becomes relevant again. Which, to be fair, is an issue that Power Rangers has had quite a bit in a number of seasons. Where they'll sort of drop plot points and forget about them until they become actually relevant to the show. Or relevant to a specific plot arc. Rather than have them be organically just a part of the show.
As the Rangers battle Fiera, they find that the power of the Claw Armor Megazord is no match for the Nihilak's incredible speed, and are quickly ripped apart, while woozy Jaden spots the approach of a blurry blonde figure from the woods.
Lauren.
The Zords assume their emblem forms, and just as the monster is about to break through their brilliant defense strategy, the Line Folding Zord leaps to the rescue. Before the baffled team
viewership go down.
What's happening, the new pilot starts.
Oh, if they move to Paramount Plus from Nickelodeon, yeah, would the viewership go down? Well, I would expect so as well.
Well, the monster does have daggers that shoot out her hair, and anywho,
yeah, Dr. K is really kind of leaning into the sort of the girl power sense of things here. Yeah, because it's not something that Dr. K would normally focus on. I felt like I could have still made it work in a meaningful way while still pointing out those differences in how the gendered characters are being treated.
Oh, you can definitely see the resemblance in their strong Japanese heritage. While all the other Rangers have perfectly reasonable questions to ask, Mia is quick to welcome her, the earlier letter scene having apparently clued her into the upcoming plot twist. Back at home, G fills in the rest of the team on Lauren's backstory. As we know from Origins,
so much of the Shiba clan is just so strange and so awkward. That is fair, charade. It is Dr. K definitely playing on DB being awkward. Yeah, Dr. K is very much a troll to DB in these early episodes. Hey, Athena, good to see you again.
Temporarily sending him to the bottom of the Sansu River until a true seal could be mastered.
To deceive the Nihilak, Jaden had to do one of the hardest things in the whole world. Hide it from his best friends.
G's right. Andros barely managed 5 episodes before the Rangers found out about his sister. Meanwhile, Jaden and Lauren do their best.
Oh, sort of. Yeah, that's true. So how much of the Hasbro presentation? I didn't actually watch the presentation. I was busy with work. I haven't had a chance to actually really watch the presentation outside of just reading up on highlights.
Okay, this conversation just took a turn for the weird.
If I stay, dangerous mistakes could be made.
That whole scene is so weird. Is so weird. That scene will always be incredibly weird, and I don't know why it's played the way it is. I don't think I'll ever fully understand why it's played the way it is. They also just really don't do a good job explaining why Jaden needs to leave. There's just so much like weird romantic subtext in that scene. I don't know why.
Sadly, Jaden arrives to ruin the party. Packed up and ready to go.
But yeah, I really have been trying to stay on top of things with news coming out about Power Rangers. To be prepared for the deeper looks. So I've been trying to, for instance, like, listen to all of the different Simon Bennett interviews, which have been, there's been a lot of, he's done a lot of interviews. It's been amazing.
They grudgingly accept his decision, and Jaden bids his farewells to the team, urging them not to follow.
Yeah, Lauren's character was very sadly underutilized. You know, she was really only in those final 5 episodes, and that was it.
Nice tact, guys. Refusing to be without his best friend.
And you know, it was an interesting arc, and the character was performed very well. But just everything about this, it just makes no real sense.
And that's the end of our episode.
Like, they never explain why Jaden had to leave. And it's something that, again, only makes sense in the Sentai, where there wasn't that familial relation, I believe. Where and I believe there was an additional character as well, who was very tradition-bound and wanted to, you know, oust the Pretender. Which, you know, makes sense in that context, but here, where he's actually part of the family, like, where is he going? That is where he lives. Where is he going? And where has Lauren been living this whole time? It's there's so many weird bits about that.
Is in providing motivations for what's actually happening now. Not only does Octoroo's plan feel contrived in terms of...
Oh yeah, Lauren was cool in Shattered Grid, I agree.
The Shiba clan feels like an oddly specific plot device designed to expose Jaden's secret. Perhaps if his explanation had focused on the ceiling symbol and how that requires massive amounts of fire symbol power, then things would have made a bit more sense. But this pales in comparison to the true dramatic conflict of the episode, which is, of course, Jaden's departure. Considering his claims of the team being too loyal,
this particular episode,
this not only weakens
I wish that I had a little bit more to say about with regards to, you know, foreshadowing or anything like that. Where really the focus was more so just trying to do that transition into Kay doing reviews. Because we had so much fun with it in episode 8 that I really wanted to do it again in episode 16.
I was just trying to
ignore the most relevant part of the episode.
No.
First female Red Ranger, and you just glossed right over it.
Well, technically that would be Charlie of SPD's A Squad, but she was evil and does chronologically come later, so she would be the first female team leader. No, that would be Delphine of the Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers. And Jen would be the first female leader of an Earthbound full season team, but the chronology of that situation is a little dicey since it is time for...
I'm splitting so many hairs right here.
But you are right, Lauren is chronologically the first female Red Ranger to lead a primary Ranger team. Narrow superlative though that may be, it is a relevant one.
Yeah, it's true, Athena. If they were going off of the rules of Japanese tradition, Jaden, as the eldest male heir, would have had precedence.
Jaden is one of the better performed moments of the season.
It's a shame that it simultaneously does so much to undermine her character.
Right. Wait, what?
Once again, we have a perfectly competent female ranger deferring to her male counterpart.
But she's taking over leadership of the Rangers.
No, she's accepting leadership of the Rangers, which I'll admit is admirable.
Like, these are all points that I really want to raise and address. But I still felt like I did have to sort of force Kay into this role a little bit of having that investment in Lauren as a character.
All right then. Well, as I was saying.
But if there had at least been a consensus between the two, it would have shown a leader who was inclusive in her decisions.
But I do like how this got played out with Kay being unable to restrain herself and having to jump into things. And that bit right there, though, feels absolutely Kay.
You seem to think you can do a better job.
You should have been putting more thought into your analysis, otherwise I wouldn't be doing it for you. That is absolutely in character for Kay.
This is a fairly underwhelming introduction to an interesting new character that looks to act as the herald.
And I mean, it's not as if she
so make sure to join us next time.
didn't
Dr. K will be taking a look at the great
that she didn't focus on any elements of
Until then,
of
farewell, Ranger
how
fans, and let the power
gender
protect you.
plays into different dynamics. Because we did have, for instance, the episode "The Dome Dolls," which was obviously a very gendered episode of Power Rangers. And let's not jump into that duel quite yet. Here we go. So, yeah, that whole sort of side, that whole little subplot arc, with Kay focusing on gender relations within the show, uh, I did try to draw from some pieces of the character from RPM, like the dome, how they were dealing with stepping up without the guys in the dome dolls, and her having that sort of girl power moment, and then of course other little things like her bonding with Summer and making reference to my affection for you is so great that it overwhelms my um, biological urge to dominate the attention of the males, something like that. Those things felt in line with Dr. K. So I felt like I probably could have gone a little bit more clinical in her analysis, and it would have felt better for the character. But there's still plenty of good gags in there, and of course, it's a lot of it's just Dr. K making Database feel very awkward and stumbling over his words and repeatedly putting his foot in his mouth, which is fun, and that's really more the fun of this episode and this little mini uh, plot thread. Initiate Operation City Storm. Excuse me. So in so I wish I had a little bit more to analyze with this one. Obviously, I'm going to have plenty of analysis tomorrow to do with the new episode of Dino Fury coming out, and obviously there's plenty of work for me to do with the new episode of Power Reviews coming out on Sunday. Obviously, there's going to be some fun stuff with Database and the Landlord coming up, as for those of you who've seen the trailer, and I'm looking forward to exploring some elements of Power Rangers through the review that I don't necessarily normally get to look at. So that's going to be one of the nice things about getting to take a look at and action, as well as, of course, moving the plot forward, as really just about every episode from here on out is going to keep doing. We are getting into that final run here now with only 9 episodes left to go, and then only 8 episodes after Sunday. So I'm going to try to get some rest. I don't know how likely it is that I'll be getting much. On the plus side, at the very least, I got a lot of work done last week during the winter break, and I managed to still squeeze in work pretty solidly during the evenings this week. And due to some scheduling changes over at school, I didn't have quite as much work for today as I normally would going into a Friday, because I usually like to produce videos for my students, and I didn't have to do that this week due to a schedule change. So I could focus a little bit more on my own videos this week, which was very fortuitous. And there's MJ coming up with the exact quote from Dr. K. "My feelings of fondness for you are so strong, they override even my base biological instincts to undermine and sabotage you in an effort to monopolize the attention of the males." Yes. And yeah, Dan, obviously in Shinkanger there was a clear reason why Takeru had to leave. But that reason didn't translate over into Samurai, unfortunately, I thought. And yeah, today RJ got her got some, had a little doctor's appointment to get some shots taken care of. So that's been one of our busy things today. I know some of you are surprised, but yeah, RJ's over 2 months old now, which is, and they're doing great. Um, Keeping healthy, keeping active, looking adorable. Um, it was good to spend some time with them during the week-long break last week, and um, trying to keep up with that each day, while still obviously having time to do all of the YouTube things and all of the teaching things, keeping me very busy. And I'm still looking for some ways to um, stay um, politically active. Uh, obviously we had those big live streams for voting rights uh, at the end of last year and beginning of this year. And I'm still on the lookout for exactly how I'm going to uh, take the steps towards our next actions. Um, Specifically, I want to try and engage in some sort of activism on behalf of climate change, which is obviously a very important point moving forward. Um, Obviously, our sympathies to everyone who's struggling down in Texas right now. I know they're having a very difficult time down there. So best wishes to anyone who may be living down in Texas and having challenges. And, well, actually, right now you might not even have electricity, so you might not actually be watching this if you live in Texas. But my condolences regardless. We've definitely had plenty of experiences with cold weather up here in New York State, and I can only imagine how it might be for those who are not prepared for such things. So yeah, we're coming up on half an hour. Any questions from the chat? I know I didn't tackle any comments this week, but most of the comments I think were mostly just people being hyped for Dino Fury, being really the big things last week. And people just being excited about the new review series, which seems to have been well received. I've already gotten quite a nice little bump in views for that, as always happens when you get the review for a new season out quickly. But that's probably been our most views for quite some time. But really, we've had a nice little jump in subscribers over the course of this last week. Probably we basically had been stagnating a little bit on growing out our audience across the course of these last couple years, and this month had been fairly light on new subscribers. But this past week, we got basically a month's worth of new subscribers through, I'm assuming, the traffic from Orphan Legacy. So we're very appreciative to anyone who's just now discovering this channel and learning a little bit about what Database Rangers Power Reviews is. And I look forward to seeing how people react to the new episode on Sunday. It's pretty exciting. And we are watching Dino Fury together. Even though we're not doing live reactions together, we're still watching it together. Although that will change once MJ goes back to working on the weekends, which is going to be happening pretty soon. So I'll be being full-time dad during those weekends, while also trying to release those 2 videos on the each week. So definitely have my work cut out for me. So am I worried about stagnating during the hiatus? Honestly, I'm going to be focused on filming. It's going to be my big thing, and I'm going to see how well I'm able to handle these Dino Fury reviews across the course of the spring. So when we do hit the hiatus in the summer, I may be continuing to do the rapid run-throughs and deeper looks of older episodes. I may put out something by request that may end up being something that I connect to Patreon to get that to sort of restructure the Patreon so that people are getting proper rewards, which again I know I have not been good about at all over these years, and I want to try and start, actually rewarding my patrons. So hopefully this new review series, if I'm able to get good turnaround times on that, could extend at least not necessarily every week, but extend somewhat into the summer, so that people can still be getting some sort of engagement with the channel. So all that being said, uh, MJ, I don't know if MJ is I think MJ might be taking care of RJ at the moment, but both of us got a kick out of the episode, and I'm looking forward to the whole family checking out the next new episode. So make sure to tune in for that. And if you want more live streams tonight, go see Ranger Liz's channel. I know she's doing a live stream in about another hour. But for right now, we'll close out here with our closing 3 equally non-controversial phrases. Number 1, say it with me, chat. Love is love. Number 2, say it with me, chat. Trans rights are human rights. And number 3, say it with me, chat. Robots are cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing some new ones with the big Zord reveals hopefully going on in the new episode of Dino Fury tomorrow. Oh, MJ, they just wanted to know what your thoughts were on Destination Dino Henge. But think amused, like the argument between pink and blue, science versus woo. So I think that's a good place to end things on. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again next week and finding out what you all think of the 92nd episode of Database Rangers Power Reviews. But until then, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you.
Keep it